Hello and welcome to my first online fitness class. Today's class is a Pilates class, so as I always say in all my classes, work at your own level. I'm going to offer lots of different progressions and you should feel free to work at the level that suits you best today. And if any of the moves don't suit your body and you get any discomfort, avoid that exercise and then catch up with us later on the next move. I'm going to try and move it quite quickly so that you feel engaged, and make sure you've cleared the space around you, you've got a glass of water, and you're wearing clothes that are comfortable. If you've got any injuries, then be mindful of them as you work throughout the class. So I'm going to start standing on our feet. Now you'll notice when I stand up my hands disappear from the top of the video, but I'm sure you can imagine what my hands look like once they've gone up there. But I don't want you to be too far away when we do the rest of the moves. So we're going to start relaxing the knees, drop the shoulders away from the ears, drop the tailbone down, and then start growing through the spine. So thinking about the spine being really long, maybe you give a little tug of the tuft of hair here, if you're lucky enough to have a tuft of hair here, and start growing tall throughout the spine. And then keeping the shoulders down, draw the arms up into the air. Deep inhale, exhale, resting back down. Lovely. Now you notice that I raised onto the balls of my feet there, lifting the heels off the floor just to test my balance this morning. Now I've got a mat here. If you haven't got a mat but you've got carpet, then you'll be absolutely fine. Otherwise you could always lay a towel down. So breathing in and out, allowing the arms to rise up into the air, allowing the breath to drop down into the bottom of the rib cage. Lovely. Now we're going to change this up slightly. I want you to bring the arms out, flex the wrists down like this, and then press the hands away, just gently warming up into the wrists. I've themed this class to be along the lines of sort of Pasodoble, circles and swirls. So there's a dance that was invented in France, copying the lines of matadors in Spain as they fought bulls. Now I know it's not like I'm a fan of fighting bulls, but they do make beautiful lines. Now we're going to bend the knees this time, keeping the balls off the floor, the balls of the feet off the floor should I say, don't want to get mixed up there, hopefully that's happening anyway. And pressing down, bending the knees, keeping the tailbone tucked under, the stomach pulled in, inhale coming up, exhale resting down. Now if you're wobbling about all over the place, that's because this is a very challenging balance. Some of you at home might be able to go down further if your knees will allow you to. But inhaling coming up, whoop, exhale pressing down, and then coming to relax. Just allow the arms and the legs to wobble about. Now, taking your legs wider, you want the feet outside of the hips, breathing in, coming up, breathing out, resting down. Lovely. Breathing in, coming up, breathing out, resting down. And if you can, again, take the heels off the floor. Exhale, bend the knees, suck the body in, push the bottom backwards so that your weight is going into your legs rather than your knees. You don't want your knees to collapse in or push forward like I was demonstrating then. Instead, you want to really keep a strong pelvic floor, the muscle that stops you from peeing, pulling up. Like you've decided you need the toilet and there's a 15-minute wait for the bus. So really suck that pelvic floor in. Exhale, bending the knees, sucking the belly in, dropping the tailbone down and coming to rest. Lovely. Now, we're going to bend the right leg. Now, you notice I'm pointing to my left leg. That's hopefully your right leg because we're mirroring each other. I'm going to bend the right leg and just stretch out the muscles in between the thigh, the adductor muscles here. One side and the other, the muscles that we've just worked out in the previous exercise. But also we're going to add to the choreography I'm working on at the moment with you, so that we have to engage our brains a little bit as well as our body. So reaching to the right hand side, coming up with the arm, coming over, circle the arm down. And then bending the left knee, pushing the bottom backwards, reaching out with the left arm, coming up in the air, reaching over and swirling the arm round. Now feel free to express these moves. Try not to put my hand through the picture there, and rounding through. The more you the more you express the moves, really reaching, coming up, reaching over, then swiveling the arm round, the more stretch and contraction you'll get from the body. So let's add the breath. Breathing in, reaching and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, really be careful here to keep the elbow lifting up to the ceiling, then reaching forward so you get that stretch across the back. We're going to do this twice more. Hopefully you're beginning to feel a little warm. I can assure you this is a old 30s block that I live in, and they have communal heating. So it's just like Wick-Hall saunas in here. I call it Wick-Hall saunas. Woo! So toe heel all the way in, and I'd like you to come back to standing hip width apart, but walk forward a bit, especially if you've got something behind you. I'm going to take the right leg back. Now I'm going to make sure my feet are quite far apart from each other and swivel the back heel down, but feel free to keep your legs quite in line and the heel in the air if you really want a balanced challenge. Now we're going to press both arms forward and then take the right arm back, pressing it against the wall behind you. See if you can gaze at that hand as well, just to challenge your balance and coming back. Now let's see how far we can do that going over the other shoulder. Whoop. And coming back. It's a serious balance challenge. Now inhale, coming up, tuck the tailbone under, engage the stomach muscles. Exhale, pressing the hands away. Inhale, opening the chest, the top of the spine. Exhale, coming down. Now this time, I'm going to inhale and straighten the leg as you come down. I'll demonstrate this from the side. Inhale, exhale, straightening the leg. Lovely. Inhale, exhale, straightening the leg. Inhale, exhale, straighten the leg. Now notice that I'm straightening my spine as I reach forward so that I get a stretch across that front leg, in the back of my leg or the hamstring. Lovely. Now we're going to swap over legs. So taking the other leg back, taking the heel to the floor, tucking the tailbone under, engaging the bottom muscles or the glute muscles, taking the arms up, opening the chest, pressing the hands away. Inhale, exhale, straightening that front leg. I'm breathing for demonstration purposes here. You don't have to breathe that loudly. Let's do one more all together. Lovely, and coming to stand back at the top of the mat. Now, I'd like you to relax the knees, tuck the tailbone under and roll down one vertebra at a time. Now when you get down there, give yourself a little wiggle and relax the neck, relax the shoulders, and then walk your weight over to the right foot. You can hold the right ankle with your left arm and then pull away a little bit so you get a stretch across the left side of your body. And if you bend your left leg, you can get a stretch across the back of the right leg too. Now keep the neck relaxed whilst you do this. Take a deep breath, relax back to center, and let's do that on the other side. So you're taking your right hand across the outside of the right leg, and I'm mirroring you here, and then pulling away, stretching across the right side of the body. Deep inhale, exhale, relaxing back to center, relaxing the neck, and then placing the hands on the floor, stepping back to your knees. Lovely. Now from here, I'd like you to take your shoulders around the wrist, just gently making sure those wrists are nice and warmed up. I hope they are after all those Pasodoble circles, and that's a theme we're going to keep now as we come onto the mat. So make sure you've circled your shoulders both ways, and then from there I'd like you to focus on just your shoulder blades. So this area here, relaxing the shoulder blades, taking the chest forward and then pressing the shoulder blades away. Now notice I'm not moving my spine, but actually just my shoulder blades. So I'm pressing just the shoulder blades. It's going to be important in the next move. If you're feeling strong today and really want a good rotator cuff workout, then you could move your knees further back or even tuck the toes under and do some scapular press-ups. Breathing in, breathing out. Wow. Lovely. Now resting the knees, I'm going to ask you to do a little routine here. So I'm going to come and face you for a moment. We're going to open the right arm. Try and really open those arms so that they become vertical. You're stacking the shoulders on top of each other, feeling the rotation in your spine. The knees are still down. And then bring that right elbow to the floor. Bring the left elbow to the floor. Climb up onto the right arm. And then open the left arm. Climbing down onto the left arm. Climbing down onto the right arm. Climbing up and open. So we climb down, down, up, open, down, down, up, open, swapping sides each time. If you're feeling really strong today, then you can have a go at doing this, either moving the knees back or even tucking the toes under and coming to full high plank. Let's have a go all together again. Down, down, up, open, down, down, up, open. So we're going down, down, up, open, down, down, up, open. Lovely. Now, giving your shoulders a rest, I'm going to encourage you to push your bottom back towards your heels and rest your forehead on the floor. Now, some people won't be able to get all the way down there, and if you can't, you can always build sort of mashed potato hands and rest your head on your fists. And if you can't get your bottom to your heels, do not worry, you can always do the same thing but with the bottom in the air here. The important thing is to get a little relaxation and catch your breath. Now from here, I'd like you to come into Mermaid. So we're going to sit here in Mermaid pose, trying to sit up as tall as we can. Now, for some people, sitting in this position is very uncomfortable, so you can hold the shin to help you out here. Take the elbow out and create some length in the neck. So my knees are pointing to the left side of the room, and my feet are out to the right side of my tail. This is Mermaid pose, so that would be my tail. Now I'm holding on with my right hand and reaching the left arm up to the ceiling to get a stretch down the left side of the body. Now from here, taking the elbow up into the air and reaching out further. If you can crawl your right hand right out. Come onto the fireplace here. Keep the elbow coming up to the ceiling. Feel the stretch right down into the hip. Deep inhale to come up. Exhale, now rest that hand on the floor. Extend the foot out and shift yourself up onto the knee if that's comfortable for you. If it feels really uncomfortable on the wrist, then move the knee in a little further, or potentially you could move the knee in further away if you fancy more of a challenge, taking your Pasodoble arm up to the sky and then reaching round. Inhale coming up, exhale coming round. If you can, add an extra movement in, which is to bend the knees and reach towards the toes. Inhale coming up, Exhale, reaching to the toes. If you can, straighten the bottom leg, but you keep resting in the top leg. Woo. Let's do 3 more of those on your own. Keep breathing through those moves. 1 more, and then coming to rest the left hip back on the floor. Let's sit back in our mermaid pose and bring the back of the hand to the floor. Now, if you're getting lots of knee pain while sitting like this, feel free to flex your foot. You could also sit on a block. Now, if you don't have a block, you could grab a book. This is the first year, what to expect. It didn't prepare me, I can assure you. So, sitting on a book can really help make this position a little more comfortable if you're very tight in your hips. Lovely. Now, lying down on your side. So I'm on my right side here, so I guess you must be on your left side. And we're going to take the top leg. I'm resting my head down on my bicep, but again, feel free to get your book or block and rest on that instead if it's more comfortable for your shoulder. I'm going to take that top leg and oscillate it forward, touching the floor, coming up, back, touching the floor, forward and back. Now, if you're feeling particularly strong in your hips, then you can take both legs up and crisscross them. So notice I'm bringing the bottom leg up as I bring the top leg down. I'm using this hand to help keep me supported. Although you could lose it, but that's very, very challenging. And hopefully you're beginning to feel some real heat in your hips now. Remembering to breathe nice and deeply. Breathing deeply helps keep your blood pressure low when you're exercising, which is really important. Generally, but especially if you have any heart conditions. And relaxing. Oy, oy, oy. So we're going to flip ourselves around and do the other side. So, first of all, come out to mermaid pose. My goodness, I don't have my class attendances to remind me what I've just done. Sitting up really tall, coming to sit on the blocks and flexing that leg if necessary, holding onto the chin, taking the elbow, shoulder away from ears, reaching up to the sky. If you can, walk the hand out and come over. Really take that elbow up to the sky. Deep breath here, really stretch out all the muscles between the rib cage. Exhale, resting the right hand on the floor, extending the left leg and coming up onto your knee. Taking the arm up, take the elbow in the air, really open the hip and shoulder and sweep the arm through, creating beautiful dramatic lines. Bending the knee, reaching towards the toe, and if you feel confident you can move your knee further away or even take both legs straight. Really reaching up tall. Exhale, coming to your toes. Can you touch your big toe? Almost. Yes, got there. And 1 more. Really reach. And coming back to sit. Woo! In mermaid pose. Now you're going to take the back of the hand to the floor again and just stretch out the wrist. In fact, you could stir a pot as well. Stretch out all those different ligaments in your wrist. Lovely. And then coming down to lie on your right hand side. Your hands on the floor, keeping you supported. Top leg is coming back and forth, tapping the floor around the bottom leg. If it feels okay for your hips, take both legs off the floor and crisscross them. Nice deep breaths as you move. You carry on. I'm just going to take a sip of water. How's that feeling? Feeling this in your hips yet? Are you screaming at the camera for me to stop. You can stop whenever you like, I'm not there to tell you off. So, and rest, well done. Now, from here we're going to sit on our bottoms. We're not, we're going to come down to our stomachs. Sorry if you're already on your bottom, if you're a fast mover there. Now we're going to extend the arms out, suck the belly in, push these bottom ribs into the floor and extend the chest forward. So it's a small movement, but you should feel quite a strong engagement in the upper back muscles. Exhale, resting down. Now if you can really come up high, you'll notice that you drag your hands towards you a little bit, but it's no way an ambition to do that. It just might happen if you're very flexible in the top of your spine. Exhale, coming back down. Now if you're feeling this in your lower back, I suggest that you get your book or block, place it between your thighs and squeeze it really hard. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, resting down. Now keep moving even as I talk. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. Now keep moving. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. And really feeling the strength across the upper back. Now hopefully squeezing that block, if you put it in between your thighs, has eliminated any discomfort in your lower back. If you don't have any discomfort, then you can try this next version of the move, which is to bend the legs, and on your next inhale, take the knees off the floor, feeling the strong engagement in your bottom muscles. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. And again, if this feels good, then reach the right arm up in the air, swivel around, see if you can touch your right foot. Now I can't. I'm not blessed with masses of rotation in my spine, but it does mean that I have some stability, which is great. So, rising the left arm and resting, then rising the right arm and resting. Now you're going to do 2 more each side, breathing in and breathing out. 1 more each side. And then finally, if it's possible for you, take both arms round, see if you can hold your ankles and lift up. Exhale, resting down. Now you have to be quite flexible in the shoulders to be able to achieve that, but it's there for those people that are, and for the rest of us, we really don't need to matter. Now, resting back into child's pose, giving yourself a little stretch, taking the right hand just outside the mat, placing the left hand on top of it and straightening the left arm, stretching out that left side of your back. Then walking the hands to the other side, stretching the right arm and stretching across the right side of your back. And then coming back to center, crawling up, and we're going to sit on our bottoms. Now I just want to see how long this video is running up for. Oh good, we're on good time. I'd like you to come and sit on your bottoms. And I'm going to remind myself what's next. Oh yes, it's always the hard exercise I forget. So, the knees are bent, the feet are on the floor, and I'd like you to sit up really tall, elbows away from the shoulders, and then extend the right leg, flex the foot so the toes are coming back towards the body, and see if you can separate all the toes. Hug the left knee into the body and give it a real squeeze. Now for some of you, you might be getting really quite strong stretch across the back of the knee, and again, this is where your book or block comes in useful, to pop it underneath the bottom, just so you can sit a little bit taller in your spine. Now, if it's comfortable for your hips, you can step that left leg over, use your right arm to thread through and hold the leg up. Now, the left arm is going to reach backwards, press on the floor as you hug the knee into the chest and swivel around, feeling the stretch in the lower back. Take a couple of breaths here to really feel that stretch in the lumbar spine. And come back to center. Now, we're going to reach back with the left arm. Now, you're allowed to hold on to the leg as much as you want to counterbalance yourself, but you mustn't let the right leg lift off the floor, not just yet anyway. So we're going to rotate back and reach as far as you can. Now I've run out of space. I'm going to reach with my elbow. Really suck the belly in. Engage the abdominal muscles. Reach, reach, reach. Coming back. And reaching forward and lifting that heel off the floor here. Lovely. And then coming back. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Very good. And on your own, breathing in, rotating back, breathing out, breathing in and breathing out. Now, as long as you're feeling an engagement in your stomach muscles, you're doing it right. And as you come forward, as long as you get an engagement across the top of this leg, you're doing it right. How high your leg lifts or how far you reach back is irrelevant. The important thing is you're feeling the muscles in your torso work and the muscles in the front of the leg work. Really good. And coming to center. Whoa. Right, we're going to have a go on the other side. So tucking the right leg in, giving it a hug, sitting up as tall as you can. Make sure your block is in place if that's helpful. Stepping the right leg over, threading the left arm through, holding the leg really tight into the chest, reaching the arm and rotating back. Breathing in, breathing out, lifting that leg. In. Breathing in, reaching back, breathing in, breathing out, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now I was cheating a bit then, I was leaning on the floor. Really you should keep your hand hovered as much as possible off the floor as you reach back. Whoa, nearly went. Inhale, exhale. One more on your own. Inhale, rotate, exhale, reach, 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 reach. Inhale, sitting up. Exhale, lifting that leg up. And relax, bounce your legs around. Well done, really great. Now, I'm going to take the hands so that the fingers are pointing to the back corners of the room. And the feet are wide. You notice my feet are wider than my hips. And you're probably still sitting on the mat like this, which is great. But I'm going to keep facing you so that if you're not sitting this way, by the way, it really is irrelevant. As long as you're comfortable, you can always move your mat round to face me. But I'm sitting like this so you can see me from this direction. Now, I'm going to push down into the floor with the hands and open the chest. And feel the front of the shoulders opening up. I'll show you again from this angle. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, relaxing down. Now you're squeezing your shoulder blades together and then relaxing them away. So moving in your own time. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, relaxing back. Lovely. Now you're going to do one more. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, relaxing down. And then what I'd like you to do is push down into the floor so you lift your hips off the floor. Now tuck the chin and lift the hips as high as they'll come and then relax back down. Now be careful if you get shoulder pain, if you get rotator cuff injury, if you've got a rotator cuff injury, you might only want to lift up a little bit because that will be a strong enough stretch across the front of the shoulder. However, if you can get your hips up higher, then great. You feel the squeeze in the bottom and the strength across the back of the leg. So we're working the hamstrings, the glutes, and the back of the arms, the triceps, and a lot of the deltoids in the shoulders as well. Now traditionally this is done by letting the head relax backwards, but I've read a few articles on the fact that this is a little bit more safe for certain conditions, and it's certainly more comfortable on my neck, keeping the neck tucked rather than letting it lay back. And traditionally also you'd have your fingers pointing towards the bottom, but again I find it more comfortable on the wrists, and you still get good arm engagement. Now if your wrists are feeling achy, give them a little flop out, and you might want to keep doing that version of the exercise, or even come onto your elbows and do the exercise if your wrists are really achy at this point. However, if you're feeling good and you want to do something a little more engaged, extend the right leg, lift up, and then swap over. Swapping right leg and left leg. Inhale, exhale. Now if you're not breathing the way I suggest, it really doesn't matter. The important thing is that you're breathing, and breathing deeply. You'll probably naturally kick into a breathing pattern that suits your body's ability to achieve the exercise. So in Pilates it's traditional to breathe out on the strongest part of the exercise. However, if you do a lot of yoga, and then the breathing is slightly different, they tend to breathe in on an extension of the spine and breathe out on a contraction of the spine. Now if you want something more strong here, then what I like to do is come up, kick the leg, come down and rest. Swap. Come up, kick the leg, come down and rest. However, if this isn't right for you, obviously give it a miss. It's quite strong on the wrists, on the back of the arms and in the shoulders. Now we're going to do one more, and then I'd like you to swap over, sit up, reach forward with your left arm towards your right foot, reach the other arm back and really squeeze the belly, squeeze all the air out of your lungs. Coming up, reaching open, exhale, reaching, inhale, open, and let's swap over. Exhale, reaching, inhale, open, your right arm's coming towards your left leg, and relax. Well done everyone. Now we've got a few more exercises if we've got enough time. I'm just going to check the clock again. Yes, great. So we're going to come and rest down on the floor, bring the hands to face the ceiling, create a diamond shape with your fingers. Now from here, bending the knees, bringing the big toes together but separating the knees out. So you're in this position. And then from there, lifting the tailbone up in the air so you draw the knees to the elbows and the hands to the feet. Now notice my head doesn't lift off the floor. So the movement's coming from my tail. My tailbone's lifting off the floor, and I'm avoiding kicking my legs when I do this. If you want a breathing pattern, you breathe out, breathe in, resting down. Breathe out, breathe in, resting down. Now if you're seriously strong in your abdominal area, you might want to extend out as you come down. However, if you don't want to lose the natural shape of your spine and start arching your back as you reach out, if that happens, then take the move back down and resist straightening the legs. However, if you're strong and want to stretch out, you can drop your legs as far as you want to. Oh, let's do one more of those. And then coming to hug the knees into the chest. Let's clap the knees down to one side, extend the arm away on the other, and then bringing the knees in, collapse the knees down the other side, extending the arm out to the other. Lovely. Now coming back to have the feet on the floor, knees in the air, suck the belly in, roll the lower spine into the floor, push down into the feet and lifting the hips up into the air, squeezing your bottom, pushing down and engaging the hamstrings, and then rolling through the vertebrae, sucking the belly in. See if you can get every single vertebrae to roll through so that you rest your tailbone back on the floor. So deep inhale, Deep inhale. Now you may want to stay here doing this version of the exercise. However, if it feels nice, next time you lift up and keep moving, take the hands to the ceiling, above your head, interlace your fingers and press to the back of the room. And as you roll down, you might get a nice release in the middle back. Oh. Now for some people this is going to be very difficult, especially if you've got a very lordotic posture in your lower back, so you've got a big curve in your lower back. It's going to be a very challenging move. So we're going to do one more of those. So suck the belly in and roll all the way up. Let the hands float to point to the ceiling, come over your head, then interlacing the fingers and rolling back through the spine. Nice deep breaths. And then I'd like to invite you to come and sit up to face me. So that's nearly brought us to the end of the class. However, before we finish, I'd like to stretch out a few muscles that we've really worked in quite a challenging way today. So I'd like to sit up really tall. Now I'm sitting in semi-supine here, but if that's not comfortable, you can sit with your legs out in a bound angle pose or whatever feels good for you. The important thing is that the shoulders are over the hips and you're sitting really tall in the spine. And again, pop your block underneath your bottom if that helps you keep a long spine. Now extending the arms away from the shoulders and resting some weight into those fingers. Hopefully already you're getting a nice stretch across the top of the shoulders. Many people say when they first start Pilates that their neck muscles are quite achy after, and that was the same for me. Let's take the right ear to the ceiling, like I've got hold of your earlobe and I'm pulling it up to the ceiling and then releasing it over. However, you do learn to sort of relax the muscles you don't need and engage the muscles you do need the more you practice, whether it's Pilates, yoga or any sort of calisthenics, and then gazing down at your left hand. Lovely. Let's take the other ear to the ceiling, really sitting up tall, and then gazing down at the right hand. And feel free to repeat that again if that feels good for your body. We're coming to the end of the class, so you could do these stretches again once we've finished. Now we're going to round out the shoulders, or pronate the shoulders. Feel the stretch in between the shoulder, those muscles called the rhomboids, and relax. And finally, I'd like us to stretch out the fronts of our leg here, our quadriceps and our hip flexors. So I'll ask you to come to your knees, kneel up. Now if you're on a hard wooden floor, feel free to get some extra padding or throw a jumper under your knee or something so your knee's not in any discomfort. I'm in 90-90 kneeling, so notice that this knee is not coming forward of my ankle. That's important. Tuck the toe ball and just reach forward slightly, making sure that this foot is far enough forward so that your knee doesn't come in front of the toes. Now the tailbone's tucked under and I can feel a lovely release in the front of the hip here. Oh. Now you may want to stay here, or if you've got the balance, reach the left arm. I've got my right leg forward, my left arm up to the sky, and then reaching over, attempting not to fall over. Ooh. Lovely. Now I'm going to bring the left foot forward, engage the bottom muscles, tuck the tailbone under, and then reaching forward, feeling the stretch across the right front thigh. So we're stretching out some muscles here called the psoas muscles or the iliopsoas muscles, and here in the front of the leg the quadricep muscles. And if it feels good, to reach the right arm up and then leaning up and over the left leg. Breathing in and releasing. Thank you so much for joining me on my first online class. I hope you enjoyed it. Do drop me some feedback. If you enjoyed the class, please share it widely. Have a lovely day or evening, no matter what you're up to. Drink plenty of water. to keep yourself rehydrated, especially if you've just done a fitness class. It's important to drink lots of water, and especially if you've got any cramping in your muscles. Quite often cramping is about dehydration. I hope that whatever's happening in your life at the moment, that this class helps you feel more present and engaged and embodied. Have a really lovely day, evening, night, and hopefully I'll see you again in one of my other videos.